Hello, this is tutorial 6, and we're going to look at curtain walling. To create a curtain wall is very similar to a traditional wall. You'd go up to the Architecture tab, select Wall, and whenever you come over to Properties, the property bar, you should find that underneath the long list of wall types, there should be some presets for curtain walls. The three presets that I have on Revit 2017 are curtain wall, exterior glazing, and storefront. The storefront is the easiest to install because it's got all of the presets already within it. You can simply select it and then click on the center of a wall and click again to define the extent of it. And it will automatically create that opening in the wall for it. This becomes more complicated whenever you want to create your own curtain walling. The wall itself needs to be segmented, broken into different sections. To do that, we would simply select the wall, and if we come up to the Modify toolbar above, there should be a tool called Split Element, or you can type SL. If you select this and then come to your wall, you simply need to define places to break the wall and turn it into different sections. So choose some dimensions such as these that you are happy with, then simply click and then click again when you want to do another section or cut through that wall. When you're finished, you should find that if you hover over the wall, it's now been broken into different sections with the same settings, but different sections that can be therefore modified. You can select one of those sections, select the center of this wall, and change that into curtain walling. If you go to the elevation, I'm going to go to the south elevation, you should see by moving around the outside of the edge, you may have to hit tab to find it, but you should be able to select the curtain wall. And once you select it, you should also be able to change it as you would with any other wall to a storefront or anything else. And I'll just show you how to do that here so that you can see the presets when they are overridden. If you try to switch back to the curtain wall, it might give you ask you to delete the grid lines. To modify the curtain walling, I want to create my own bespoke curtain walling. So I'm going to come into the properties, edit the type, and whenever I come to modify this, I don't want to overwrite the existing curtain walling in case I want to use it again. So I'm going to go to duplicate and create a curtain wall with glazed door. To set up the curtain wall, I'm going to first select a curtain wall infill or type. The curtain panel should be set, and the join conditions also. In this case, what we want to do is to create vertical mullions in the glazing, but we also want a border around the opening so that the masonry has a window frame or mullion against it. So we're going to select border and vertical grid continuous in order to achieve that. For the vertical grid, we can select a fixed distance at which each mullion will be placed. We can select also a fixed number, and we can also select the maximum or minimum spacings. So if we select the maximum spacing, we could define this based on the glass size. It's common for glass not to be able to be manufactured at very long lengths and widths. So something more like 900mm might be quite realistic as a maximum for the mullion spacing. So I'm going to put in 900 and allow it to adjust for the mullion size so that the depth of the mullion is taken into account. The horizontal grid as well. I do want to have some horizontal mullions, but in this case what I want to do is create a different sizing. I want to have a door through my curtain walling, So I'm going to allow the spacing to be about 2.1 as a maximum, so that vertically the mullion can go above the door frame and line through the curtain walling. 2.1s are a rough estimate of a decent height for doors. And for the vertical mullions then, we need to select a type. I am going to select a rectangular mullion. The 50mm seems fine for now. It's just an indicative curtain walling at the minute. I'm going to select the 50mm by the 150 deep. And select that for the border as well. For the horizontal mullions, I'm going to select a 50mm, but I think I could perhaps select the 65 deep mullion for this, as there should only be one or two horizontal mullions on mine. And I'm going to select that also for the border. And once you've completed the settings, you click OK. And the curtain walling should generate the mullions according to the settings that you have defined. We now should see that we have a border and mullions spaced at 900mm. And in this case, the central mullion has been placed in the middle of the curtain walling. We can then modify that later. But we should also see that the curtain walling goes quite high. It looks like the framing goes above the level 2, the height of level 2. And we can now start to modify each panel and modify the settings of this. If you hit Tab, you should be able to see that you can select each pane of glass and each mullion. You have to make sure the pointer is positioned centrally over the mullion. And as you tab, you should also see a dashed line. That dashed line is the grid line on which the mullion is positioned. So as you tab, you should see all of these different elements being selected. And once you are able to select the grid line, it should give you the dimensions, accurate dimensions from between it and the nearest object. If we hit Tab and then select the curtain walling, and then select split element, what we can do now is create two separate curtain walls. And I'm doing this to deal with the top of the curtain walling so that it doesn't hit the roof. We now should have, once we've clicked, we should have two different sections of curtain walling, one on top of the other, much the same as walls. And we can simply go to properties, and instead of curtain wall, we can revert this back to the basic wall masonry cavity that we have for the other areas. And then we just remove the constraints so that that can be retained as a wall again. And that's a much more realistic detail with the masonry creating an opening around the curtain wall. Once we've created the curtain wall, we should find, if we position the mouse centrally over the mullions and hit Tab, after a few times of hitting that button, we should find the grid line, which is a dashed line along the line of the mullion. We can then modify the dimensions and set an out for that mullion. We can also go back into the edit type as well to allow different settings to be used. So we have started with quite fixed maximum dimensions. If we wanted to move and modify the curtain walling, we might want to untick those or deselect those so that we can create a more bespoke positioning for the mullions. In this case, I want to create a door opening, so I'm going to remove the restrictions of the maximum spacings for the vertical mullions so that we can create a double door. I'm going to come back to the curtain wall and select a mullion, and I can then untick the lock to unpin the mullion. Once it's unpinned, we can delete it by just simply clicking and hitting delete. If we hit tab and select the curtain wall panel as well, we can unpin this so that we can then alter it. To create a door in curtain walling, you need to first have some door types that are specific to curtain walling. Go to Insert and Load Family. I recommend you have a central library of doors and windows that you can easily access and load. In this case, I've got a folder set up with curtain walling and with doors specific to curtain walling within it. You may find that some versions are from older versions that have to be upgraded, so those family of doors have to be updated to be inserted into your current version of Revit. And then once that's uploaded, it should simply be a case of selecting it whenever you select your curtain walling.